Sooner.
Upended balls loose, laying around, picked up on the run. Cannon, he's to the 10, he's to the 5, touchdown!
Live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Welcome to the OU Huddle on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Now, here's the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
What is going on, Sooner Nation? You're watching the Huddle here at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Obviously, I'm not Toby Rowland.
That's all right. Better looking, huh?
Hey, he's missing out because I get to spend the next 30 minutes with Coach Skip Johnson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Coach, how we doing?
Good, doing good. A little tired from the trip, but it seems to happen on Mondays.
Well, you look good.
I appreciate that.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
You guys just got done with a very competitive, fun series down in Tuscaloosa. You ended up winning one of the three, but before we dive into some of your guys and how they performed in the series, what were kind of your main takeaways from the series against Alabama?
They're a very competitive team. They're well coached. Facilities were incredible. You should have seen the stadium was incredible. The crowds were good. I think our kids handled the crowds really well. We're in every game. Probably could have won the first game. Didn't come up with a couple double play balls that, we've done that in the past when we're on the road at South Carolina. Bowden got a couple double play balls there. Balls were hitting the infield and just found holes, and that happens in baseball. And then on Saturday we played really well because it was a quick turnaround. We played a 6:30 game. Get done at about 10:30. They got to go back and eat. They got to get back up at 1:30. We're playing a game at noon. I mean, it's a quick turnaround for a baseball game for sure. And so, and that might have been the little sluggish start on Sunday. I don't know, but we come out and score quick, and it was rain, off and on rain. Then they score on us, and we just could never. We started getting a little bit of rally, sustaining rally from about the 5th or 6th on to the 9th, and just couldn't finish it off.
The rain situation was interesting. I was following the game, watching it. How do you handle that as a coach? Because, baseball is a momentum game. You're feeling the energy of the game, and then all of a sudden it stops.
Well, it's helped us and hurt us in the past, but I think the biggest thing is to try to keep those guys doing something to kind of keep them active. Like every 10 minutes, if we keep the pitcher in the game, just have him go play catch. If we're going to go to the bullpen, if it's a starter, you're probably going to pull him if he's thrown 4, 5, 6 innings. If he's thrown a couple innings, you got to see where he's at, and then just have him play catch for 10, every 10 minutes until the rain kind of subsides, and then kind of look at it from that point on.
Guy that had a great series against Alabama was Dayton Taki. Hits a couple home runs. Seems like things have come together for him in SEC play.
Yeah, he's swung the bat really well in SEC play. I think the biggest thing is Coach Raley and Coach Willits have really worked with him on his discipline. That's as much as anything, and not trying to do too much. I mean, he's a big guy with a lot of bat speed, and those guys will try to do too much and try to take the game over instead of just taking it one pitch at a time, because that's all that really matters. And trying to teach those guys, it's just about one pitch. You
lost so much of your offensive production from a year ago. I know everyone wants to talk about pitching, and
that's fine.
Certainly that's your specialty, and we'll get there, Coach. But how do you feel about where the bats are at right now, having to replace all of the production that you lost from last year?
Yeah, we lost 65% of our offense last year and 55% of our pitching, and really the only starter that we have left on the mound is Kyson. But the offense is really, it's really gotten a lot better as we've moved on. We've played really good games, really competitive games. One thing that I really enjoy as much as anything is watching them play with passion and the grit they play with. They feel like they're never out of a game. They can come back. They get after it. And they've really learned the routines of going pitch to pitch and understanding being in control yourself one pitch at a time.
This opening segment is brought to you by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference family makes. Looking at game 2, the game you guys won down in Tuscaloosa, big reason why is what Cade Crossland did on the mound.
Yeah.
How have you seen him develop throughout the season? Because I felt that game was a great look at the stuff that he's got.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for Cade is just to know that he belongs here. And he was a really good pitcher at junior college. We got him. He got hurt in the fall, so we had to kind of get him back. Had a stress reaction in his lower back. And so in the early springs, he was just trying to get back from it, get back from it. And the more times you can run him out there on the mound, and the more development you put him in a game situation. Bullpens are bullpens, but the game's a teacher. And so, and what's sad about college baseball, you play a Tuesday game and you play a weekend series or a Wednesday game. Those games on Tuesday, you have to win them for RPI. I mean, it's all an RPI game. If they just throw the RPI away and just work on the weekend, the retainment and the transfer portal on the weekends on the weekdays, you could play guys that, in football you get to play like 4 or 5 games and you still don't burn a red shirt. You pinch run a guy or you throw a guy in here, give him one at bat, he runs this whole year. And so it's a lot different.
How does that make sense?
Well, it doesn't, and we've got to fix it.
How is that something? Like, how do you get that change? Clearly, you want that changed. I assume coaches around the country also want that change. It seems like
it happens with
change.
our coaches association, happens with our coach association, happens with our compliance office, happens with our athletic director, our president, all those things that we're trying to, get accomplished. I mean, you don't want to burn a kid's red shirt on a year that he gets one pinch hit or one inning or limited innings. And so I think that's the biggest thing. Is we all talk about retainment and trying to develop, and those Tuesday games and Wednesday games are really development games. You can throw guys out there. Like last week, we threw Ghostin out there just to try to get him going. And we'll do it again tomorrow and try to piece this thing together, win or lose. I mean, we've got to learn how to do that, and we've got to continue, because that's really the development that takes place. I mean, it's like we don't have a minor league system like, if a guy's struggling, hey, we'll just go to AAA and find this guy. Or if a guy gets hurt, we'll go to AA and bring him up. We don't have that. We've got to play those guys. And so that's the puzzle in the whole deal you're trying to figure out as you go into league play. I mean, the SEC is it's a football environment in a baseball arena. I mean, it is really, really competitive, and that's what kind of wears you down.
You've been on a couple of road trips now in conference, going to South Carolina and Alabama. How have those environments been?
Been huge. I mean, I remember, in the first one, it's like a super regional every weekend. You're playing a 2 out of 3, so you got to try to win 2 out of 3 to go to Omaha. It's just like that. I mean, it's packed, and you're going to see quality baseball throughout this whole league. I mean, I look at the SEC and I look at football and I look at baseball. I mean, we have 5 of the last national champions coming into play at our park, and so it's pretty amazing.
Is it what you were hoping it would be? I knew that. When the announcement was made, everyone was so excited about the football piece, of course.
Yeah.
But baseball felt like the second sport that always kept getting brought up.
Yeah, I thought what it was going to be. I mean, there wasn't no doubt, because I've watched it. I've been in it for 35 years and playing against them where I was at before, and playing against them when I was here. I mean, we played against Ole Miss in Omaha in 22, and I think we had maybe 6,000 to 8,000 fans in the stands. They had 30,000 fans in the stands. Plus, they're giving light blue towels off out at the gate. I don't know why. It's like we're like David and Goliath.
They were conspiring against you, Coach.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, have you had to adjust anything from a preparation standpoint?
Not really. I mean, we still do the same things that we do. I mean, like on our day off on a Monday, we're all the coaches are working on scouting reports through the whole week and trying to stay in front of it. And that's the biggest thing. That's probably the biggest tiring thing going into a weekend series. People don't realize these guys are our coaches, and we're putting in 20 to 30 to 40 hours on a game, just on one game. And I mean, it just compounds. It's just week after week after week, which is also the fun in it as well. It's an opportunity. It's not baseball's not a game of failure. It's a game of opportunity. It's gonna show you if you attack it, it'll give something back to you. If you're afraid of it, it's going to exploit you.
I've heard you throughout the years talk a lot about team chemistry.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, how are you feeling about where this team is at from a chemistry standpoint at this point in the season?
I believe that we're a lot like the 22 team. I mean, really close knit. I mean, you think about the guys that we had that are freshmen: Jason Walk, Jackson Willits. Those guys and the guys we had back last year, they have never lost a weekend series until this past weekend. So they were looking at me. I think they're looking at me I was going to blow them up, get mad at them.
See if you
I didn't say anything.
out.
Yeah, I didn't say anything to them. Get on the bus, man. We're leaving in 15 minutes. And we went over, took a shower, didn't say anything to them. I really wanted to see how they were going to respond, and they were really quiet, and it seemed like they were upset, and I think it's more of a learning deal for them as much as anything. And we got a big weekend series, and we got a big game tomorrow. Can't overlook Texas Tech because they're always good, and big weekend series this weekend.
We'll talk about what the future schedule looks like, but coming up next, there is a topic that is dominating the baseball world right now, and I want Coach's thoughts on it. Keep right here. You're watching The Huddle at Rudy's.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The Trails Golf Club of Norman, where you'll experience everything you love about golf and more.
Welcome back to The Huddle from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This segment is brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Things aren't easy in the SEC.
No, they're not.
You look at all of the top 25 teams in the conference right now. Is that's got to be something that you love when it comes to just the level of competition you're dealing with in the regular season?
Well, you wake up every morning, do you want to play against the best, or you want to play against somebody that you want to play against the best? That's what you want to line up against, and I think that's the fun in it all. I mean, you look at Tennessee, they're really good. Arkansas, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Auburn, Vanderbilt, all those teams are really, really highly rated. Great pitching staff, great coaches, great fan base. I mean, everything you can think of.
They say it just means more, I'm told.
I talked when I went out and yelled at the umpire. It just means more, man. I mean, your strike zone's a little bit tight right now. It just means more.
That is so good. Now, there is a story that is dominating the world of baseball right now. Yeah. After the New York Yankees, I think they hit 9 homers in a game. They've had a couple guys switch to a unique-looking bat that they're calling the torpedo bat. Any thoughts on what's going on there?
Well, I think, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, sports is evolving all over the country and all over the world. And, I mean, the one guy, he didn't use the torpedo bat, and I think he hit 3. I think that was Judge.
I think Judge is using what he's been using.
Yeah, I think he looks like a Teddy in a baseball uniform. So, I mean, he's a big boy. So it's I think everything's evolving. I think one day, and I hate to say this, I love the human element as an umpire being in the game. I don't like I'm just no traditionalist a little bit probably. I like the human element. I don't like balls and strikes being called by computers. But it's going to get to where even us as pitching coaches, AI is going to call the baseball game. Because of the looking at the analytics. This guy can't hit a breaking ball in this zone. Now, the guy's got to be able to throw the ball in that zone. It still goes back to command. I mean, you look at in the world of baseball, they can't go through the lineup. All the pitchers can't go through the lineup 3 times. There's never going to be another 300-game winner. I mean, in baseball. I mean, you think about this, and I don't know if you guys realize it, but Pete Rose played 500 games at 5 different positions in the major leagues. That'll never happen. It's crazy. That's how talented that man was. And so I think it's all relative. I think everything's going to change in some form or fashion, whether it's the glove, the bat. I mean, think about it. A guy using a weapon can put pine tar on his bat, but we can't put any rosin. Well, we can just use one kind of rosin bag. We can't put pine tar to help us throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. So it's kind of crazy.
You mentioned analytics, and from what I understand, reading about the torpedo bat thing, it was kind of an analytics-driven decision,
yep.
right? Mm-hmm. Where guys were hitting the ball consistently. How much do you guys, you and your staff, use analytics, and how do you blend that with your just coaching intuition?
we use a lot of it. I mean, we got Coach Willits, Reggie Willits came from the Yankees, so it was good that he had some of the ideas of the deal of some of the stuff that we go through, whether it's mixing a lineup, whether it's whatever it may be, pitching orders or whatever. And so what we kind of look at is left versus right, OPS, all this stuff that we're trying to do in trying to create a lineup or trying to create a guy coming out of the bullpen versus a guy that's a hitter. I mean, it's all analytic driven. But you also got to use the human element, your eyes, and if a guy has confidence, if a guy doesn't have confidence. I mean, it still matters. What the thing about baseball is incredible in every sport. I really believe this. The head and the heart are so big. And I mean, you look at the Bible; it talks about the heart all the time. And you think about a guy that he plays with so much passion, and he has so much confidence, but he plays with his heart. And you'll drive hours to watch that guy play. I always tell our guys, I said, you want to be out there, and I tell them all the time, and even show them, even play the song, "The Ride," David Allen Coe. Can you make people cry when you play and sing? You're so good at baseball. And how hard you play, they'll drive hours to watch you play because you play with so much passion. And I think that's really what matters. But, you have all these other things to help you, and you have these resources to help you. You just can't take them too far from one extreme to the other.
That was awesome.
I don't know about that. But
yeah, that was awesome. Now, we have not talked about your pitching staff yet.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is your bread and butter. It's what you're most well known for. Where do you feel the staff is as a whole? Before we dive into some of the individual guys, how are you feeling about the pitching staff overall?
Well, I think it's going to continue to get better. I really believe that. I mean, as they evolve there's two ways. I mean, confidence is a fragile piece of ice, and so it can go just as fast. Like Malachi. Malachi didn't give up a run in the fall. He didn't give up a run. He's been struggling since then. We split him up, put him on Sunday, and I think it's a deal where we got to keep throwing him out there and put him in a different row. Maybe not in a different row, maybe in a different row. Who knows? Just try to get him confident. Once we get him confident, I mean, you look at his number. He got beat, gives up a 3-run homer, gives up 3 unearned runs. But you also look at the number. He walked 1, he hit 2, and he punched out 6. So the number was okay. And we just got to try to keep cleaning it up. But he's also a reliever that we use to turn into a starter. And so that's a different role for him too. And so we're trying to polish him and trying to keep him getting better because he's really, really competitive person. And I think we're in the right move for Kyson's. He's really good. I mean, he's really. If nobody's watched him pitch, you guys want to go watch him pitch because he's really fun to watch pitch. He gets after it. You're talking about concentration. His concentration level is really high. His execution of his pitches is really high, and that's really been fun to watch.
Kyson had a rough start on Friday against Alabama. His worst start of the year. Mm-hmm. Only went 4 innings, but other than that, he's been so good for you, Coach. How do you handle that as the pitching coach, as the head coach, when a guy has a rare poor performance with the way that he's been performing this season?
Just look how did he stick with his routines? Did he all the little things that happened to him. And then in that game there, I think in the first or second inning, he felt like he got squeezed a little bit and he started over-competing a little bit and got out of control. And that's what kind of turns them when they start doing that. They start overthrowing, they get out of rhythm. It's like if me and you are sitting there playing golf and you've been hitting it 350 yards right down the middle of the fairway.
That's never
right?
happened. So
well, I get that. I understand that. But you're hitting it straight 350 yards, and all of a sudden I've been hitting it 300, and all of a sudden I want to gear up on one, and I want to try to hit it as far as you. I get out of rhythm and time, and I use too much effort, and I get out of rhythm and time, and I start hooking. The great ones can get back into their rhythm in 0 to 5 pitches or 0 to 5 swings or 5 to 10 or 10 on. And if it's 5 to 10, you're probably not going to be in the game much longer. You're going to give up 3 or 4. And if it's 10 on, you're definitely not going to be in the game. And you're over there scratching your head going, man, what just happened to me? You know, and that's what happens.
One other guy we have to talk about is Dylan Crooks.
Yeah.
Arguably has been the best closer in all of college baseball up to this point in the season. Believe he leads the SEC in saves right now. Just how valuable is a guy like that for you, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, his Jimmy was his older brother that played for us in 22 that caught, and he's been in our program. He understands what the culture of is and how to compete, and he's grown here, and he's gotten better and better, and his confidence level is at a high. You just get out of his way. I mean, good pitchers and good players make good coaches and good pitching coaches. They always will, and they always have. And you just got to make sure they have the right attitude. I mean, that's the biggest thing is having the right attitude. What kind of attitude you have today when you come out there? You're going to be accountable to your teammate? I mean, that's a big deal. Are you going to push him to get him better? And that's what Dylan Crooks brings to the field every day.
Well, you and the squad got a heck of a week coming up.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by Trails Golf Club in Norman. You'll experience everything you love about golf and more at the Trails Golf Club in Norman. One off with Texas Tech tomorrow night in Frisco.
Yeah.
I know you and Tim Tadlock are very, very close.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to get out of that game? Obviously,
I get to see Tim, and that's a good thing. And so I think.
Is this just a reason for you to hang out with?
Well, I
best
try
friend?
to get him to play wood bats and to do something totally off the wall, different than in college baseball. Because I believe if all these guys are getting scouted by all these major league teams, and let's make college baseball like Major League Baseball. Let's do it with wood bats. We wouldn't have to worry about a pitch clock. The game would be a lot faster. I mean, it just I guess I'm just a traditionalist in that. But I think, we'll get to see where we're at, what we need to keep work on, because they're going to be good. I mean, they're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to get after it. It'll be a big crowd. They'll bring a lot of people. Hopefully we'll have a lot of guys drive down, and our fans. And so the fans in Dallas, they don't get to come up to Norman to watch us. They can come over to Frisco and watch us and play in a AA park. We always like our kids to play in the pro parks, because it kind of gets them a better feeling. And we take a lot of guys on the trip so they can feel the atmosphere of what's going to happen. And then, we get a day, we get to practice on Wednesday, get home probably, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning from that trip, and have to wake up, go to school, get some kind of practice in Wednesday, maybe go to bed early, and then wake up and play LSU on a Thursday. And hopefully that pace will be packed out there.
He said it for a reason, people. Show up, be loud. Going to be an awesome series against LSU this weekend for OU baseball. Thanks, Coach. That was awesome.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're talking OU men's tennis coming up next. Keep it right here. You're watching The Huddle.
Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com.
Welcome back to The Huddle here at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. We are presented by Air Comfort Solutions, and this segment is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Nick Kroll, men's tennis head coach. How we doing, Coach?
Oh, we're doing good. Happy to be here.
It doesn't seem like you've been here for forever, but it's been like 9 years.
Yeah, we're going on 9 years. Time flies. It's going.
Does it feel like it's been that long for you? I mean, all the way, you go back to 2016 when you started coaching.
That's right.
Here.
August 2016 we came, and I was 13 years before at Florida State, so time flies. 2004 was my first year in college tennis, and 2025, so it's going quick.
You're coming off a very successful weekend. Let's talk about Alabama first.
Yep.
Tied up, have to have it.
Yep.
You get a win to win the match. What are those moments like for you as a coach?
Oh, those moments are what we train for all year long, and we had Luis on the court there at 3-3. 3-all match was all tied up. We had the 3-1 lead. Alabama was battling back, and we had Luis there, and he stayed calm. He had a chance to close it out in the second set, wasn't able to do it. Took a bathroom break, came back, kind of reset his mind, refocused, and he did a really good job. He got a break up early in the third and was able to kind of keep the momentum going. The other two matches that were on went Alabama's way, so we were tied 3-all, and then within probably 10 minutes, Luis clinched it, and there was like the court rush and all that, so it was great.
I have so many questions about college tennis in general. I absolutely love the format that you guys play. But when all of that's going on, how do you decide what to prioritize as the head coach? I know you've got two main assistants that are helping you, but as the head coach, how do you decide what match to really focus on?
The matches always start with the doubles point, okay? And so we've got 3 matches going on simultaneously, and the doubles point really gets whoever wins 2 of those 3 matches gets the doubles point. And so you head into singles, somebody's going to be up 1-0. And so when you're up 1-0, unfortunately at Alabama, we lost the doubles point. We've had a really good doubles point all year. We dropped the doubles. And then, we talked to the guys in the huddle. We had to get really good starts in the singles and kind of try to take the momentum back. And we had 2 guys get off the court pretty quick. And so that was huge for those guys to get off quick. And then, at that point, we're 2-1 up, and we're just trying to get to 4. And so you're trying to find the matches that look like you can get off the court as quick as you can. It ended up we had a couple guys in position. Alabama did a good job, and then it came down to Luis, and he was in that situation 2 days before at Ole Miss. So 2 nights in a row, he clinched in those 4-3 matches, and he's a junior now, but he had never been in that situation before, and so this is his 3rd year. He had never been last match on, and so after he clinched Ole Miss, he said, I've been training 2.5 years for this moment, and then it happened again 2 days later. So it was good to have the same guy there.
Does Luis Alvarez just have ice water in his veins?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, how satisfying is it for you to see him in those moments, in those situations, in back-to-back matches, and be able to get the job done?
Yeah, Luis is one of the hardest workers in college tennis, and so he prepares so well every single day. And so I knew he had a lot of confidence when it came down there in Oxford, and it was a tiebreaker in the 3rd set, last match on, and like you said, ice water in his veins. He had a couple match points at 6-3 or at 6-4 and 6-3 and 6-4, and then it came down to his serve at 6-5. Played like a 30-ball rally, and the other guy ended up missing at the end, and that's kind of what Luis does. He wears you down. Physically, mentally, and he was the guy for the moment that day.
Now's the time for some of my college tennis questions for you.
All right.
I think it's one of, when you compare it to what the professional game is, I like the version of college tennis because of the team aspect.
Yeah.
And how do you balance that? Like, how do you mold a team that it's an individual sport, but then you have the doubles piece, and then it's like this overall, hey, you want to win as a team. Like you said, you want to get 4 to 7 points. Yep. How do you manage all of that, man?
It starts early in the fall and just building the camaraderie with the group. And, these guys we've got guys from all over the world coming here, and, we try to put all those guys into one locker room. We want all those guys to bring their egos in the locker room, but all under one umbrella. And, I think these guys do a really good job of that. And so, just trying to play for each other, playing for Oklahoma, playing for their brothers, playing for their families, and then once they have that purpose and that mindset, they're all in. So I think for these guys, it's just about playing for each other and playing for the logo on the front of your jersey. So playing for Sooner Nation. That's one thing we talk a lot about is playing to make Sooner Nation proud, and these guys do a great job of that.
You mentioned doing it for the logo on the front of your jersey. I'm sure all these guys you're recruiting have big-time aspirations.
Yep.
In the world of tennis. How do you have conversations with some of the guys when maybe, hey, they got to sacrifice something for the team?
Yeah, we only get to play 6 players in singles, and everyone wants to play singles, and then we play 6 players in doubles, and so every day we have a pretty hard choice of who to put in those lineup spots, and some days you're not in the lineup, and you've got to still bring it off the court, cheering for your guys, going around, being loud off court, and trying to make a difference any way you can to try to help the team.
I was going through the roster, and you have guys from everywhere. I mean, you've got a guy from Nashville, and then you've got guys from France, the Czech Republic, Mozambique, Mexico, Japan, Israel, South Africa. How does a college tennis roster come together? Because that is the diversity on your roster is just insane.
No, it is, and so we're looking for the best players in the world to try to win a national championship here, and so we're trying to bring in the best players we can. And my coaches, our assistant coaches, do a great job of scouting these guys. We travel in the summer all over the place, and we watch these guys play, and hopefully through that process, in the recruiting process, get relationships with these guys, and then we bring them on campus for visits. And it just turned out that we end up having guys from 9 different countries this year, so that's pretty unique.
You mentioned, getting the guys to play together, but you're guys all kinds of different backgrounds, different upbringings. I mean, completely different cultures.
That's right. I think.
How do you blend it?
We're speaking probably 6 or 7 different languages in the locker room sometimes. We try to keep everybody speaking English so we can understand. But, we've got a couple guys that speak French. We've got a couple guys that speak from Israel. We've got some Spanish speakers. So, it's a pretty unique group. They do a really good job. They're really tight-knit. Most of the guys live together, either in Headington or in an apartment. And so they're a really close group, and we've just continued to grow in our closeness throughout the season. We've got a pretty new young team this year, and so last year we graduated 5 either seniors or 5th-year players, and so we've got 5 new guys on the team. So it's been a fun year just getting these guys tight.
Looking at your roster right now, do you have any really good recruiting stories? I have to imagine when you're getting guys from all these different places, and I'm sure you're seeing them at big-time tournaments, and that's where the majority of the recruiting takes place, but you got anything that stands out about your current group?
Ben and I, my assistant, associate head coach Ben Dunbar, he does a great job. But last December, about a year ago December, we went on a recruiting trip. We went 4 different countries in 4 days, and so we went and saw four different guys. We spent about 2 hours in each country. We spent more time on planes and trains trying to get to these guys, and that was a heck of a trip. We ended up getting a couple of those guys, so it paid off.
If you ever need like a travel assistant to go with you,
of course.
I can try to see if I'm available. My wife would love that.
No doubt.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next, we haven't talked about Bruno yet. He was the talk of Sooner Nation for a while. We'll talk to Coach Kroll about it next. Keep it right here. You're watching The Huddle at Rudy's.
The Huddle is brought to you by Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today.
Welcome back to The Huddle, live here at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. We are brought to you by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Coach Kroll, Bruno became the talk of Sooner Nation for a while, and I may have played a part in that. It was a social media post that you guys put out of him flexing after winning a match. And I believe all I said was, I need to know more about the guy in the picture. What was that like for you, for Bruno, and for the team? That had to be fun, the way that whole thing blew up.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, I think our posts on Twitter are getting 15 or 20,000 views or something, and that post after a couple hours was like at 400,000 or 500,000, and I was like, what's going on here? And a couple days later, we're at like 2 or 3 million. So that thing really blew up, and it was fun for us to see that, but also for Bruno. And he's such a great person, such a great leader. He works so hard. Great tennis player, but one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet. And he's done a great job for us.
Has Coach Venables inquired?
I
mean, the guy's got a football physique. I'm just saying.
He definitely does. I haven't gotten that call yet from Coach V, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes at some point.
What have you, in all seriousness, what have you seen from Bruno this season? He's an extremely fun guy to watch.
Yeah.
Really animated, ton of energy on the court. What have you seen when it comes to his development?
Yeah, coming from junior college, he was national champion and as a team and a doubles player, and he came in here right away and established himself as a leader on our team, winning a national championship at Cali. I think he brought credibility that way. He kind of knows how to lead a locker room, and so our guys really follow him, and I think he's done a good job that way. His game's really developed as well. Great doubles player. He won our regional championships in the fall, which qualified him for the NCAA championships in doubles, and to do that in his first year was really impressive. And then, he's been playing number one doubles for us every match this season. Him and Oscar Lacide, another freshman, and so those guys have held down the number one spot. And playing number one in the SEC is tough, but they've done well and they're continuing to get better. So big things coming for those guys.
Let's take a look at the rankings. Currently in the top 25. Obviously, there's work to do there, but how are you feeling about how the season has gone as a whole?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of growth there. I think I said it earlier, but we've lost 5 seniors from last year, a team that finished 9 or 10 in the country. And so we had a lot of new guys coming in, and we knew there was going to be some growth, super talented group of guys that we have. And so I think we took a couple losses during the season that we really learned from, and so we were able this last couple weeks to really put it together. We beat Georgia at home 4-3 in a night match. It was really exciting. Came down 7-6 in the third, last match on, and then we went on the road last week and won 2 at Ole Miss, and we won 1 at Ole Miss and 1 at Alabama, but we got 2 in a row there. So we've won 3 in a row there. We felt like we've really grown since a couple of those losses. But we're just trying to continue to get better each day, and we've got some big ones coming up this week. That's what we're just gearing up for.
When you are able to evaluate your matches during the season, how difficult is it to have guys work on maybe some of the things that they're struggling with? Because I know that it's such a physically and mentally taxing sport. How do you weave in working on some of the weaknesses but still having guys fresh for the matches throughout the week?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the formula that we're always trying to tweak, and so we do a lot of individual work during the week in the mornings, and then we have team practices in the afternoon. Our team practices are more working on the doubles, a lot of point play. I would say the individual stuff in the morning, they come in, work one-on-one with the coaches, and we try to just kind of fine-tune those guys during those hits. And then once you get to about a day before the match, you're just trying to kind of, like you said, freshen up, kind of a light hit, fine-tune little things that you need, and then the next day you're playing. But the matches are super physical, and I think being in the SEC, we have a lot of road matches, and so there's been some travel, and so we're trying to navigate that, but we feel like we've got a good handle on it right now.
Let's take a look at men's tennis upcoming schedule. That is brought to you by the Trails Golf Club of Norman. Do you think people know you're a Longhorn?
Bro, I don't know. I know they did when I first got here.
The alma mater's coming to town. No big deal. They're only ranked number 4 in the country. That's got to be a lot of fun for you and just a great opportunity for your team.
Yeah, our team's really excited to get this match at home, a night match on a Thursday night. We're hoping to fill the stands. We've got a brand new facility over here with upgrades. with unbelievable stands that they built for us. And so we're trying to pack those out on Thursday night. We'd love for everybody to come out. New locker rooms, been great for our guys. We haven't moved in there yet, but we're probably about 2 weeks away from being fully into the new facility. But yeah, it's going to be exciting playing Texas here, and the guys are really excited.
I'm assuming, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about Texas's squad. Assume it's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah, I think so. They're playing good tennis. I think they're 4 in the country right now. The margins are small. I think for us, we got to go out and do our thing, get the doubles point, and then, like I said before, we're going to go find 3 and try to get 4 on the board before they do.
So you've got that on Thursday, then LSU comes to town on Saturday.
Yep.
That's quite the back-to-back you've got right there. How do you manage that as the head coach?
Yeah, we're gonna work. We worked really hard today in practice. We call it a work day. We had a work day today. Try to get back out there, work on a few things, and then tomorrow we'll kind of play a lot more points, try to fine-tune a little bit more, and then on Wednesday we'll be pretty light, and then Thursday we come out. Hopefully we're fast and fresh for that match.
Got to protect home courts.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Get out there and support men's tennis. Going to be a great atmosphere on Thursday night and on Saturday. Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nick Kroll,
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
Welcome back to the Huddle here at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. We are presented by Air Comfort Solutions, and this final segment is brought to you by Didier Ranch. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better. One of the best slogans out there. An unfortunate end to a great season for Jenny Baranczyk and the women's basketball team, but I got a feeling they're building something, especially when you consider the news of the top recruit in the country committing to Oklahoma. So I think that next season is going to be absolutely fantastic for Jenny Baranczyk and the Sooner squad. Now, one other big piece of OU news. How about Trey Young? Assistant GM and giving $1 million for OU men's basketball. That is big-time stuff from Trey Young. All right, we'll be here same time, same place next week. Thanks for watching The Huddle.
The OU Huddle has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.